The brain is the most complicated substance in the human body. The brain is the control center of our body. The brain weighs about 1.3 kilograms, which is roughly the same as a small to medium-sized pineapple. The brain works using a special type of cell called neurons. Neurons are the building blocks of the brain. They send electrical signals to communicate with each other and control our body's functions. There are around 86 billion neurons in the brain. The brain is divided into three main portions: the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and the brainstem. The cerebrum is the largest and the most developed part of the brain. It accounts for more than 4/5 of the total weight of the brain. The cerebrum is divided into right and left cerebral hemispheres. The left hemisphere is often linked to logic, language, and analytical tasks. The right hemisphere is associated with creativity, imagination, and spatial abilities. Each hemisphere is further divided into four lobes: the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the temporal lobe, and the occipital lobe. The frontal lobe is responsible for decision-making, planning, movement, and speech. It also contains primary motor area. The parietal lobe is for the touch, temperature, pain, and spatial awareness. It contains primary somatosensory area and primary taste area. The temporal lobe is accountable for hearing, memory, and language understanding. It contains primary auditory area. The occipital lobe is responsible for our vision. It also contains the primary visual area. Next, the cerebellum. It is the primary coordination center of the brain. It is a walnut-shaped structure located below and largely behind the cerebrum. The functions are: 1. Balance. The cerebellum helps you walk and stand upright and stable. 2. Coordination. It helps us to move smoothly and accurately, but not clumsy. For example, you can type on a keyboard without hitting the wrong keys constantly because of cerebellum. 3. Posture. The cerebellum helps you maintain the correct body position without thinking about it. That is why you can stand straight instead of leaning or wobbling. 4. Motor learning. The cerebellum helps you get better with practice. For example, it helps you to learn to ride a bicycle. At first you will fall, later it becomes easy. The brainstem is the part of the brain that connects the cerebrum to the spinal cord. It sits at the base of the brain and controls the most basic life functions. The brainstem is composed of the midbrain, the pons, and the medulla oblongata. The midbrain plays an important role in eye movement and control of skeletal muscles. It is also involved in processing information from sensory neurons in the eyes, ears, and nose. Pons control breathing, sleep, and communication between the brain parts. Additionally, it helps to control some facial movements like smiling, blinking, and making facial expressions. Medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata is the lowest part of the brainstem, located just above the spinal cord. It is one of the most important parts of the brain because it controls life-supporting functions that happen automatically. It helps control heart rate. It controls breathing, and it controls blood pressure, and more importantly, it controls reflexes. For example, it helps you swallow the food without choking, coughing when something irritates your throat, and sneezing to clear your nose, and vomiting when something harmful enters your body. It also makes sure you keep breathing while you're sleeping. The thalamus is a small egg-shaped structure located deep inside the brain that works like a relay station. Almost all sensory information like sight, sound, and touch, except smell, passes through it before going to the correct part of the brain. The hypothalamus is an extremely important part of your brain located just below the thalamus. It acts as a control center for maintaining balance inside your body, also known as homeostasis. It keeps your body around 37 degrees Celsius. It signals when you are hungry or full. It regulates hormones and it controls your emotions. The brain is protected by the skin at the top and the skull and the meninges, which are three protective layers of the brain, And finally, the cerebrospinal fluid, which acts as a cushion for the brain to absorb shocks.